Hello, this is the third, aka penultimate episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam. I'm just getting out of the bath finally because I thought I could hold out, but it was getting a bit cool um, and I was starting to itch and flake off, and I'm trying. There's a slight eczema thing I'm trying to work on, so that didn't help. But anyway, yeah, this one is about um, one of the most probably revered, popular, whatever, of the Habsburg family, and that is Emperor Franz Joseph I of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, or Austria-Hungary as it was known for years. And interesting thing about him, apart from the sort of tradition of kind of marrying some of your relatives, being an Habsburg, where they're all in for many years, as like in the case of Carlos or Charles I of Spain, he was heavily inbred. He helped popularize or come up with a namesake of help people come up with a namesake of the Habsburg jaw, which is a big jaw due to generations of inbreeding, all that blue, wanting to keep it blue-blooded, the family and stuff like that. But that fizzled out after a bit because they became a bit healthier. You know, looking at Franz Joseph, I mean, he looks every bit of as a like a healthy commander, like general type bloke. Anyway, even well into old age. But he married his cousin, which wasn't uncommon at the time. Aristocratic, royal, and so on, kind of a household. But he had 15 children, and thought to have no, hurry, sorry, no, verbal backspace. He had 15 grandchildren and up to 55 great-grandchildren, and he's interesting to me now, kind of, because I had a little bit of a, like kind of one of those sorts where is it a joke, or maybe it's not, because my own family background, relatively recently I found out that my nan's paternal mother was of German stock, background, whatever, stock. It's a fancy oldie word, so why not? Sometimes I like it in inserting unpopular or new words I've learned into sentences whenever I get the chance. But pretty much no one in my dad's family seems to have, big saber-tooth Wolverine mutton chops or sideburns like I do. So they're being German with great-great-grandma Amy Mull being of German background. Maybe she was one of the descendants of one of Franz Joseph's many kids down the line, or many grandkids even. I think he had loads of kids with his wife, and so on, and yeah. So which would sort of mean that I would be the descendant of someone who was sort of inbred. And I say sort of, I mean that's the fascinating thing with that genetics and relations and stuff like that. If there's enough difference on either side genetically, then most likely your children and their children and so on won't be genetically affected by anything majorly. Like, say, if yeah, say if you found out your spouse and you, it can be something like, yeah, like if you found out you and your spouse shared the same great granddad and had kids, for example, as like a fascinating what if kind of thing, which does happen every now and again. Your kids would most likely be fine, or at least they wouldn't have any major chromosome what have yous. Um, they won't be like, they won't be like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw. Put it that way, because there's enough genetic difference that you know you might share one known relative, but on your family trees there's completely different people, which is sort of how Australopithecus worked it out, pretty much. They'd have a female join another group, and another female or male join their group, so there wasn't any, um, literal bad blood along the line. But yeah, that was the third episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam, and I'm gonna do the last one later when I find the time, and I sort of need to charge this too. So yeah, I'll see you then.